Well, so now on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about, once again, this migrant crisis. You had the Brandon Johnson on Face the Nation and also the mayor of Denver, Colorado. We want to listen to what they have to say. And also Biden is doing something that lets you know that he has to be getting paid by somebody for this migrant crisis that was created underneath his administration. Well, before we get into the first clip, I want to talk about something real quick that I was brought to my attention. Sister Demetria had pointed a video out to me on Boulay Martin's platform, and it's not the video itself. It was the comment section. Boy, y'all was eating Boulay Martin's lunch in that comment section about the migrant crisis. The overall arching theme of the comments was, why aren't you talking about the migrant crisis? It's affecting black people. You're supposed to be speaking about black people and you won't even touch the issue. And that's basically the gist of it. People saying, oh, we all know now you're just a paid Democrat. Like, people was going in on Boulay Martin. I mean, I was like, wow, I ain't seen that on his page before, because I don't really fool with Boulay Martin unless either somebody point out a video, because, you know, I'm doing my own thing. But, you know, I don't think I need to say is that was a perfect thing y'all did. And continue to eat his lunch when he's going spewing all these Democrat talking points. Because I think the video, he was, oh, Trump, 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 Trump. No, the migrants. Now, Brandon Johnson went on Face the Nation, and he was addressing the migrant crisis once again. But he will not, and even the mayor of Denver, who's even worse than Brandon Johnson, actually, he's worse than Brandon Johnson. I want you to hear this clip of these two mayors, and it's just utterly ridiculous for people that live in Denver and also people who live in Chicago. Let's go ahead and roll that.
What we have is clearly an international and federal crisis that local governments are being asked to subsidize. And this is unsustainable. None of our local economies are positioned to be able to carry on such a mission. And what we have attempted to do is to create structure and some coordination around this humanitarian crisis. And unfortunately, the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, is determined to continue to sow seeds of chaos. And last night and several nights before, a number of buses continue to arrive in the city of Chicago and throughout the country without any coordination. And now he's taken on this very dangerous task of placing individuals on airplanes and flying them into our various cities. This is certainly a matter of not just of our national security, but it's the type of chaos that this governor is committed to administering.
Mr. Mayor of Denver, to be clear here, I know that you have looked at New York and Chicago making decisions to restrict bus arrivals. Are you trying to take measures in your city to restrict them from even arriving in the first place?
No, all we want is a system that is humanitarian for both the new folks that are arriving and for our cities and our city employees. And so we understand there will be an inflow. We have already had 35,000 migrants arrive to Denver. We've successfully helped them integrate into the country here. What we don't want is people arriving at 2 o'clock in the morning at a city and county building with women and children outside in 10-degree weather and no support. And so we want buses here to do what every other bus does, which is land at a bus station and a bus stop and hours when we can have staff there to receive them and to direct them towards services. And so we understand the flow is coming. We just want it to be coordinated and in a humanitarian way, which we think makes it effective for the city and for those newcomers.
On the first part of that clip, what Brandon Johnson said was actually 100% accurate. It is a federal issue that's created by Biden. And Brandon Johnson's right. The cities aren't built and they don't have the money to be taking on Biden's migrant crisis that he created. Now, the mayor of Denver, Mike Johnston, those of you who are in Denver, we got brothers and sisters that live in Denver, or anybody else outside of the black community who live in Denver, your mayor is actually way worse than Brandon Johnson could ever be. I'm going to say that. He is straight up want them to come. You know what? I would say, Governor Greg Abbott, if you see this podcast, give a pause to Chicago and New York and start sending everybody to Denver, because he want them. Everything that man just said is he wants them there. He said that he just wants an appropriate time for them to show up. So send all the buses you can to Denver, Governor Abbott, and send the planes. Go ahead on and start giving Denver what they're asking for. Since they don't want to get rid of sanctuary cities. It's just like Chicago, just like New York. You complain about the problem, but you won't give a solution that you can do as a mayor of saying, you know what, as of this day forward, we are not a sanctuary city no more. That we are not going to sit up here and try to hide people. And nope. So if you come here, understand, you're on your own. The Democrats are keep pushing this immigration issue in which I believe now, and I have been thinking about this. They got to be getting paid on the back end by these corporations. They got to, through little channels where they getting cash off the books, or maybe, look, give me so much money in campaign donations next time so it look good, right? Give me so much campaign donation, because all these migrants that's coming and the way it's happened, it's unreal. It is totally unreal. And the citizens of this country is suffering, and Biden does not care. The Democrat Party does not care. But you or me supposed to go out and vote for the Democrats in November? Look at what's happening. They don't have no security on the southern border at all. It is a free-for-all at that southern border. It's a free-for-all. On top of Biden creating these issues in the city, on top of that, on top of resources being taken away from the taxpayers in this country, I want to show you this clip right here is going to let you know. This is why I come to this conclusion. It's going to let you know that no. Biden want to let these people in here because he getting some sort of kickback or something. Let's go ahead and roll this clip.
What about the courts here, though, Julia, for a minute, because the White House wants the Supreme Court to step in after an appeals court blocked the administration from actually removing razor wire at the border in Texas. Where does that particular case stand?
Yeah, that's right. This has to do with razor wire, incredibly sharp barbed wire that Texas state government had their patrol, their state troopers put along the Rio Grande to keep migrants from coming across. And Border Patrol thought it was so dangerous that in a lot of cases they had to cut it because of injuries you see like that, people getting hurt on the wire, some people being kept out in dangerous flood waters, risking their lives in the Rio Grande. So they went through and started removing this. Texas sued. Now it's going all the way up to the Supreme Court because the Biden administration wants the Supreme Court to tell the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals that, in fact, they do have the right to remove that razor wire. In the meantime, we expect the arguments in the Court of Appeals to come forward in early February, and it might be that the Supreme Court waits for that to go on to have a ruling in the Fifth Circuit based on those arguments rather than weigh in now. But it seems inevitable the Supreme Court will have to weigh in on this issue and many other legal battles between the Biden administration and Texas.
As you heard, and you clearly seen on the lower third, they had 300,000 migrants come through the southern border. 300,000. You have cities in America that don't even have 300,000. That's considered a large city, that many people coming through. Now, Texas is trying to do what it can do to slow them down, putting up a bunch of razor wire. And as you saw in that clip, these men are climbing underneath it, doing everything they can. Women, they put their children through this just to come over here. As I said before, if I was one of they women, I would not even want to be with those men, because you are not providing anything in your homeland, and you got these women going through razor wire. What kind of men are you? Sorry, what kind of men are you? You should be standing and fighting, and not everybody's trying to run from their country in Latin America. The majority of people in Latin America are in their country right now. They're working, they're building their country. They're not trying to run. That's why at this stage in the game, we don't respect that. We don't have no sympathy for that, because you got people in their homeland right now, wherever they come from, are standing, fighting, building, doing whatever they can do for their children. And it's nothing but respect for me for those people, wherever they come from, Latin America, if they coming from China, trying to come over here gaming the system, even if they coming through the continent, right? Because some of them are trying to game the system too. Some of them. Now, the only people that I said in my mind should have been able to come over here was the Haitians. Why? They president was assassinated and the country went into chaos, utter chaos. The Haitians had every right, in my opinion, to come over here. But the moment the Haitians came over here, oh, they really pounced on it. And them doggone Democrats at the time, look, black people, look how racist they are. Right? But why aren't you talking about so-called racism now? You ain't even bringing up racism. Governor Abbott had installed razor wire at the border and put buoys in the Rio Grande to stop these people from trying to come over. Biden to try to go to the Supreme Court and want the Supreme Court to tell Texas this is what he wants, for them to remove the barbed wire away from the border of Texas so they can come in easily. Listen, that move right there, and also the other move about the SB4 law that's coming to Texas in March, that they can arrest you if you're in the country illegally. He says if that goes to become law, which is already signed, the DOJ is going to sue Greg Abbott in Texas over that law. If that don't let you know by the moves he's making that he can't play dumb no more and say, well, it's just a problem, I don't know. He can't play dumb. At this point, this is being a coordinated effort. You're trying to obstruct everything that Greg Abbott is trying to do to protect Texas because he's on his own. The taxpayers in Texas don't want to pay for people like that. We don't have that kind of money like that. We don't have unlimited resources. In Texas, we aren't people who make trillions of dollars a year or something. And so we got all this unlimited money in Texas. And even if we had it, they supposed to be in their homeland fighting and do whatever they got to do. So those of you in Chicago who's very upset about the migrants coming up there through Operation Lone Star, the reason why that's happening is because what Biden is doing, what he's not doing, and what he's trying to do, which is make sure to remove any barriers for them to come over here. I'm telling y'all, that is a plan, and he got to be getting paid, because you heard all the money that was getting deposited in accounts from Ukraine and China and all that when they were doing the investigation to him and his son, right? And that wasn't a news story, but why he was getting all these payments. I firmly believe all that money was sent to Ukraine, because they do dirt like that. They siphon off a little money for themselves too, because there was no oversight with all this money going to Ukraine. But they're locking people up right now. They got a $10,000 PPP loan, though. They'll lock them up. But you're not doing nothing with Zelensky over there and all that money. He was giving all this money, and then it was reported this dude that went bought a brand new house in Florida and got some, I think some yacht or something he didn't recently got. I know how he got it. He didn't get it because he worked hard. No, it's all the money that Biden has been giving him. But yet, we can't get reparations, though. We can't get anything. The American citizens, you want to give money to start taxing American citizens more. But this guy just get all this free money, and he kept coming over here getting a free check up until recently. Because a lot of American citizens say, hold on, man. Hold on, bruh. Like, this is too much. This is way too much. American citizens are suffering in this country, and this dude keep getting a check, and we not getting it? If the Democrats are smart enough, they would actually do a stimulus to keep people quiet, but they're not doing that. They're not doing that at all, because any stimulus money was going to the migrants. So the Democrats, as I read to you and showed you on their website, it is their plan to bring everybody they can in during the 4 years of Biden. It's their plan to try to make them citizens quickly as possible. You understand? And Biden could actually do it because he don't need Congress to make them citizens. He really don't. He just needs to craft a program. The only reason he haven't done it yet is because it will be a major backlash if he do it. So that's the only thing that's kind of slowed him down, in my opinion. But Biden, how are you going to go vote for him in 2024? How? How are you going to go vote for a man that's literally for taking all the resources away from the citizens of the country. And then on top of that, in New York, Mayor Eric Adams had made a tent city for them, have TV in there, couches, beds. They not on the floor, right? They don't want to be there. They want to be in the hotels. That's where they want to be. In the hotels, they tearing it up, ruining those hotels. New York has become a cesspool, an utter cesspool. And I got a lot of great brothers and sisters in New York. I've always, New York and Atlanta is the two cities I can always say I get a lot of love out of those two cities, New York and Atlanta. And I definitely was treated well in Chicago as well. Brothers and sisters in those cities don't deserve that. They don't get the resources they need. Black Americans are homeless in those cities. But yet, the mayors won't end sanctuary city status. Y'all have to realize that it is extremely dangerous at this point to have a sanctuary city status. The citizens gonna have to get to the point of y'all recalling mayors, and y'all recalling mayors because they're not working for you. They're working for a party. They're working for an agenda. They're not working for you. And because they're not working for you, they need to go. Y'all got to look into recalling your mayors. Eric Adams, he needs to be recalled. Brandon Johnson, he needs to be recalled. And if y'all in Denver was smart, y'all recall Mike Johnston too. Because he's basically welcoming them to keep coming in and taking your tax dollars. And see, it's all good and dandy at first. But when you start getting overwhelmed with hundreds of people a day and it turns into thousands, then you're going to have a complaint in Denver. You're going to have a big complaint. And I'm going to tell you what, the folks in Denver are not going to really like all that. They like the way of life in Denver and all of that. That's all that's going to change. And all that is because of Joe Biden. On top of what he's doing across the seas, that's possibly going to get America in a war. Because all that situation with Israel, Hamas, and Yemen has blocked access for them for that shipping route they like to go through, right? Now America and the UK is trying to go back and forth with them. Now Iran then kind of got back into the mix. They about to start something. And that's what, understand that. They want some sort of conflict, war, something. We are not in a position as a country to do a war. Because number one, we don't have enough unification in this country for war. Because most people in this country don't want war, number one. Number two, most people don't want to sign up for the armed services. They don't. They really don't. You know why? Because they don't really believe in this country like that. That's why they don't want to sign up. It's just being real. The military as a whole, say recruiting is really down. Now, what these elderly people in Congress is going to do eventually, y'all watch it. Remember, you heard it here first. They're going to do a draft. You mark my words, Democrats and Republicans will do a draft. And when they draft, it's going to be some crying then. Oh, y'all going to be wanting to know, how can I get my passport then? Oh, yes. You better believe I know you. No, I ain't fighting for these people. Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Because you went created that problem. It wasn't something that just happened. You went create that problem over there. That's not America's business. We got enough problems right here in this country that we need to deal with. Not getting involved with other people's mess. Them geriatrics up there in Congress, they're going to put up a doggone draft. And they're going to be pulling your sons and daughters to go to the military. And for years, I've been telling y'all, get your passport, get your passport. Since 2018, I've been preaching that message. And so many people attack me in the black community, attack me for saying it. Oh, well, why are you telling people that? We ain't going nowhere. And when they want to start drafting your kids, all of a sudden you're going to want to move around. Right? Because if you don't go to the draft, according to that law, you're going to go to jail for 5 years normally. An average person don't want to go to jail for that if they're going to go. You see, you need to make sure that everybody in your family got a passport. Even if you don't use it, at least you got it. So if you have to move around, you can. Because either one or two things, either they do a draft or the second thing they can do, or what they may do, is all the military age males that's coming in here, they can tell them, hey, you go serve the military, we give you citizenship. This is the issue with that. You may say, oh, well, let them fight then. This is the problem. If they fled their homeland and they was not loyal to their homeland and they didn't go fight for their homeland, why would they be loyal to fight for this one? I wouldn't trust them, personally. I wouldn't trust them. Who's to say they get captured by the enemy? They had no problem telling everything because they have a history of running. I'm telling you, I don't see any of this ending well. Y'all go up here in November and y'all go and put Biden back in there. I don't want to hear it at that point. I really don't want to hear it. Because at that point, I'm going to say, hey, you wanted it, stop complaining. Go on and open up your house to the migrants. You do it. Because that's what you wanted. And we get to see if y'all serious or y'all just complaining. Because one thing a lot of American citizens do, you complain, but you don't want to fix a problem. You just want to complain. I know a lot of people are not happy with Biden right now, but is that going to happen at the polls in November? That's the thing. They're trying all the boogeyman stuff. You know, Boulay Martin was trying all the Trump, the boogeyman. Nobody cares about no Trump. I keep saying that. 300,000 people came across the border. Those 300,000 people are coming to a city near you, Black America. And guess what? They're taking your resources. Resources you never got, but the little bit that you are getting, they're because you know they ain't gonna take resources from the folks now. They're gonna be the last one to lose a resource. You gonna be the first because they don't want to give you resources on a good day. So the Democrats gonna take your resources and give it to them, like they tried in Chicago. They want to take your field house. They want to take your schools. They close the schools for you, but open it up for them. They don't want to get the Black homeless population off the street and put them in shelters, but they'll make sure these people in shelters. Oh, yes, they're coming to a city near you. So keep voting Democrat and get ready for your new neighbors. Get ready because the Biden administration is trying their best. They're trying to make Texas take that razor wire down so your new neighbors could come next door to you. Your new neighbors could go to the school with you. Your new neighbors going to be at the grocery store with you. And you better start learning some Spanish. That's what you better start learning. Because Biden's trying to make sure to fix it that way. Listen, when I talk about the migrant crisis, the migrants are being used. They're being used. My issue really isn't the migrants themselves. When I talk about this issue, now I do have an issue when they committing crimes and getting arrogant. But my issue is more with the Democrat Party and Biden and these Democrat mayors who will not say, hey, this is not going to last. We're not a sanctuary city. That's the issue and problem. That is right there. The Democrats is the problem. The migrants is only being used for corporations and an agenda. And that agenda has nothing to do with people that look like me and you or any other American citizen. So you better, once again, have your passport, make sure you're registered to vote. Have your driver's license and all that. You better. Because I'm telling you, you give Biden another 4 years, it's not going to end well.